Nathan grinned back at him. Sir Lightstone, I thank you for your actions and appreciate your good intentions, but I wish to settle this issue today between Michael and myself. My family will not know peace until my blade has done its work. Sir Ian chuckled at the cocky young warrior's words. Nathan reminded him of himself only 5 years earlier. Very well then, young warrior, I will not forbid it. I'll even act as a witness myself to the duel, so long as your sister gives her blessing. The words were targeted towards her, after all. Despite only being 21 years old, Sir Ian was the only noble adult male in the room, and he knew he had to conduct the matter formally if the fathers of the boys were to accept whatever the consequences of the duel may be. Amelia cleared her throat as she approached Sir Ian. Upon gazing at her, his confidence immediately faltered slightly. He had to cough for a moment before he could get a word out. Excuse me, Lady Hayfield, do you agree to a duel between your brother Nathan and Michael Clay? Niles chuckled as Amelia pondered the question. Niles knew that even if Michael somehow botched the job, he would have the legal right to challenge Nathan afterward. Then he could ensure that the Hayfield boy's life was cut short. Niles was a lower-level apprentice stage fighter, after all. Sir Ian frowned as he looked closely at Amelia and saw the water in her eyes. Amelia wiped away the would-be tears and finally nodded her head. As long as it's a one-on-one duel, I will say nothing more on the subject. They are free to fight. Sir Ian nodded slowly. Amelia's face, so close to his own, shook him. He couldn't help but take a deep breath as he felt his heart beat faster. Sir Ian's face flushed slightly as he snapped out of his own thoughts and addressed the room. Shopkeeper, clear the tables and chairs in the center of the room. I shall oversee the duel here from the balcony above. Good sir, would it not be better to take the duel outside and— Must I repeat myself? Please, it will only take a moment. Any damage will be compensated. Of that much I can assure you. Yes, Sir Ian, it will be done at once. Everybody, please, back away and clear out. The shopkeeper sighed as he enlisted a few other patrons to help him clear a space in the tavern. A brawl to the death was the last thing his shop needed right now, but how could he argue when he was surrounded by so many powerful nobles? Meanwhile, the other tavern patrons formed a crowd on the outskirts of the place, standing around and placing bets as they got ready to watch the show. Such a duel between the sons of nobles was a rarity, and there was no way the common folk would let such an opportunity slip past them. Even people passing by on the street outside began to pour into the tavern as news of the upcoming match spread. Soon, the place was packed shoulder to shoulder as commoners fought for a sight of the fight that would surely be the talk of the town that evening. Meanwhile, Nathan stretched as he waited for the duel to start. His ears, with their acute hearing, perked up as he listened in on the crowd's excited whispers. I hear Nathan's examination rank converts to a level 8 or 9 beginner fighter. If Michael's about to break into the apprentice level, is the difference between them really that much? Oh, please. I heard Nathan cheated on the examination. There's no way he can take on the Clay boy. I don't know. That Nathan lad looks pretty calm. Want to bet? 20 copper on the Clay boy. He's older, he's stronger, and he's come to seek revenge for his younger brother's death. Not to mention, Nathan took the tip of his tongue clean off. I wonder what Michael will cut off in return. Nathan chuckled to himself at their ramblings. He knew in his heart what his true strength was. He also knew that Michael was about to join his brother in the afterlife. Amelia furrowed her brow at Nathan's calm demeanor. Although she knew her brother was strong, she couldn't help but worry on his behalf. Be careful, little brother. Don't make me regret this. Don't worry, sis. This will be over soon. Nathan smiled at Amelia, then nodded at Sir Ian as he made his way over to the center of the hall and put a hand on the hilt of his sword. Nathan waited in the center of the hall for Michael Clay. As he did so, he glanced back at Amelia, who went up the stairs and stood next to Sir Ian. Upon noticing Amelia by his side, Sir Ian tensed up out of nervousness. Amelia bowed at the noble and smiled. "Thank you, young Sir Ian. You have upheld justice on this day." Sir Ian felt his heart flutter wildly as he smiled back at her. Amelia's freckle-faced grin made his usually cool mind melt. He couldn't think of anything to say. Lucky for him, he didn't have to. At that moment, the shopkeeper nodded at Sir Ian. The space had been cleared. Michael Clay sneered as he barged forward from where he had been speaking with Niles. Michael stood across from Nathan at the center of the room. Both warriors crouched, facing each other with their hands gripped loosely around their weapon hilts. Nathan with his broadsword and Michael with his one-handed battle-axe. Michael spoke loudly as he addressed both Nathan and the crowd. "Nathan Hayfield, your insolence is at its end. It's time you paid for the murder of my brother." Nathan simply smirked back at him. "Why don't you pay him a visit yourself? Jason was a thick-headed bully who got what he deserved. Now, it's your turn." "Enough talk, you knave. Taste my steel." With that, Michael drew his battle-axe and yelled as he charged at Nathan. The crowd gasped as onlookers realized that Nathan didn't move at all. Instead, he simply held his ground with his sword still sheathed, waiting for Michael to reach him. "What's going on? Why isn't the Hayfield boy moving? He must be frozen up from Michael's screaming. Heavens, guide us. It's as if he wants to die. Maybe Nathan was no match for him after all." As the crowd witnessed Michael's charge and Nathan's stillness, the witnesses collectively concluded that Michael was simply more powerful than Nathan, and thus, Nathan could not react quickly enough to stop the attack. In truth, Nathan watched Michael's attack as if it were in slow motion. In an instant, he analyzed every movement of Michael's arms and legs. Nathan fully understood that the sharp edge of the battle-axe was headed straight toward his skull. Just as the axe was about to collide with his head, Nathan channeled the power of Asura through his sword-wielding hand. His right index and middle fingers glowed as he transferred his spiritual energy into his sword. Razor finger strike. Moving too fast for anyone to see, Nathan sidestepped Michael's axe and simultaneously slashed Michael's neck open with the tip of his broadsword. For a split second, Michael simply stood there, frozen in shock, as he looked over at Nathan. Then, the gash opened up, spurting blood from Michael's neck. Michael crumbled to the ground, and his severed head rolled off, coming to rest at Niles' feet. The crowd gaped as Michael's blood speckled their faces. Meanwhile, Nathan had already stepped back far enough to avoid dirtying his clothes. As Nathan cleaned his blade and sheathed it, the entire tavern stood silent, dumbstruck by the turn of events. Suddenly, the crowd roared with delight at Nathan's masterful swordsmanship. Many were so impressed that they didn't even mind parting with their coins as the betting ended. "Another instant kill! Incredible! Nathan finished off Michael just like he did his brother." "No way. I didn't even see it. How did he do that?" Even Sir Ian Lightstone, who was by far the strongest of the other nobles there, had not been able to entirely process what had happened. He'd noticed some strange form of magic build up in Nathan's fingers, but beyond that, he wasn't sure what had occurred. "Oh, impressive. I thought Stuart was exaggerating when he told me of this one, but perhaps there's more to the Hayfield boy than I or anyone else realized." Nathan nodded at Sir Ian as he looked away from the hyped-up crowd. He had been careful not to use his full strength, since doing so would have given away his true power to Sir Ian and the other nobles. Until he was face to face with the High Lord Raven himself, he had no intention of revealing his skill to be at Master Level 6. For his part, Niles stared at the decapitated head of his comrade and tried not to puke. His face turned pale as he looked at the crowd's excitement. The three lackeys took a step back as if to run away. Niles snorted disdainfully and kicked the head away from him, boiling over with rage inside. Nathan turned to face Niles and, once more, rested his hand on his sword hilt. "Your henchman is dead, Niles. Do you dare to face me yourself? What do you say?" Niles sneered, but in his mind, he trembled. Normally, he would have relished the opportunity to slay a weakling like Nathan himself. But after witnessing such an inconceivable display of strength, he knew that fighting Nathan one-on-one was nothing more than suicidal. Instead, Niles simply looked into Nathan's eyes. He tried not to think about the killing intent that drove Nathan. "The Hayfield boy's power is so much greater than I ever could have anticipated. Worse than that, he looks desperate to continue fighting, as if his blade's appetite has only been whetted. I better find a way out of here soon." "Well, Niles, what say you to his challenge? If you wish to fight on, I will happily bear witness to another duel." Sir Ian's lips curled into a smile as he addressed Niles. All eyes fell on the High Lord Raven's son. Beads of sweat formed on Niles's face. This whole thing has been a mockery. Before Niles could come up with a clever exit strategy, the crowd howled, for the onlookers were hungry for another duel as well. "Go on, Niles Raven. Don't be scared of this Hayfield brat." That's right. Let's have another round." "That last match was over far too quickly. Show him what you've got, Niles. Avenge your vassal's death." All the onlookers hoped they'd get to see another fight today, for Nathan's last duel wasn't exactly the evenly matched and thrilling battle they'd all hoped for. The common people were used to duels between equally powerful opponents who could last for minutes, sometimes as long as half an hour. Nathan's fiercely efficient style intrigued them, and they were all desperate to learn just how good of a fighter he really was. Niles Raven wished the audience would shut up and let him think. His mind raced as he tried to formulate a plan that would allow him to leave without losing his family's honor. If he simply exited right now, all across the fiefdom, gossips would whisper about his cowardice. Even if he did survive, the public goading would force his father to punish him severely. Annoyed by his silence, the crowd grew more antagonistic toward Niles. There were few things the citizens of Calandria hated more than a coward with a big tongue. "Accept his challenge already. You're an apprentice-level fighter, for heaven's sakes." "I thought you were a man. Hurry up and respond, Niles. Don't quiver there like a coward." "There's no way he'll accept. Regardless of what's official, Nathan Hayfield's clearly the stronger warrior." "How could Nathan be stronger than Niles? The Raven boy is 3 years older. That doesn't make any sense." "Don't keep us all waiting. What's it going to be, Niles? The path of the hero or the craven?" Finally, Niles sighed as he addressed both Nathan and the crowd. "Nathan Hayfield, you devious scoundrel. I'm not the fool you take me for. Clearly, you've lied about your true power in order to ambush me. I will not face a wolf in sheep's clothing. Such treachery is dishonorable." With that, Niles spat at the ground and twirled around, marching out of the front door as his lackeys cleared a path around him. "Out of my way, you peasant filth! Don't you dare question my honor!" As Niles left, the crowd jeered at him and chastised him even further. "All that talk, and Niles Raven is just a coward. What a farce! What a bully! Always happy to punch down, but when he faces an equal, he runs for the hills. What an arrogant family! How could House Raven fail to fight for their vassal's honor? He even left the clay boy's body behind. Such cowardice! That's just how it goes with those families. House Raven should be ashamed." As the crowd turned its attention to the fleeing Niles, Nathan slowly walked up the steps and met Sir Ian and Amelia on the second floor. Once there, he respectfully nodded his head at them. "Sir Ian, I thank you. You have upheld justice today." Sir Ian waved his hands and shook his head. "No, young Master Hayfield, I actually didn't do much at all. Seems as if I merely got in the way. Had I not appeared, you'd likely have solved the problem all on your own. It seems everyone here has underestimated you, including me. It seems it's time for me to beg my leave." Nathan smiled as Sir Ian walked past him down the stairs. "Say hello to your brother for me. I'm sure Stuart will want to hear about all this." "Of course. I'll be sure to tell him." At the bottom of the stairs, Sir Ian froze and awkwardly turned back to look at Amelia. "Lady Hayfield, it's been a pleasure making your acquaintance." "It was indeed a pleasure. Take care now, good Sir Ian." Sir Ian held her gaze for a long moment, and then forced himself to look away, casually waving to them as he walked off. "Take care, you guys. Best of luck with the nobility examination." Lord Byram Clay slammed the ground with his fist as tears streamed down his face. "High Lord Raven, you must uphold justice for my child." Lord Byram knelt in the Raven family compound's courtyard with his dead son's body in his lap. He sat before the High Lord Raven as he waited in anguish. Both of Lord Byram's sons had died at the hands of Nathan Hayfield, and now he was without an heir. Although his brother's children lived on and could inherit the House Clay title, Lord Byram knew his family's power was severely weakened by this turn of events. Lord Byram resented the High Lord Raven as he cradled the corpse of his eldest son, Michael. "Ever since Cedric had ordered my poor boy Jason to kill Nathan, my house has been nothing more than a pawn to be sacrificed at the High Lord's whim. Every time we do Remus Raven's bidding, we suffer losses, while House Raven suffers nothing but its own reputation. No matter what he says next, I now know for a fact that he doesn't care about us as he should." Remus frowned at Michael's corpse and grimaced as his son Niles stepped forward. "Niles, tell me again exactly what happened. Are you being honest when you say the Hayfield boy did this to him?" Niles sighed as he stared at the ground. He felt the eyes of his family members bearing down on him. Although he had managed to escape with his life, he knew that House Raven would be seen as cowards due to his actions. There was nothing to be done but come clean and hope his father's punishment wasn't too severe. "Yes, Father, it is, as I said. The Hayfield brat finished him off in a single move." Lord Byram gritted his teeth as he frowned at Niles. "Since when did Nathan Hayfield get so powerful? I can't believe he's gotten the best of us like this." Remus Raven's eyes grew narrow as he contemplated something. Finally, he let out a somber chuckle. Lord Byram's eyes widened. "What is it, Remus?" "It's all just a little too convenient, is what it is." "What do you mean?" "Don't you think it's strange that at both duels, a Lightstone boy was present? I mean, both times. We had the Hayfield boy right where we wanted him, and then, both times, a Lightstone boy intervened and bore witness to the duel. Isn't that a bit odd?" "High Lord Raven, sir, you don't think—" "The Lightstones, Byram. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I know in my heart that the Lightstones have something to do with this." Lord Byram Clay sat beside his son's body and frowned at the High Lord Raven. "But how could the Lightstones have done this?" Remus Raven's lips curled into a mocking sneer at the thought of the Lightstones teaming up with Nathan Hayfield. "I've been a fool this whole time to think they really had me believing that the Hayfield family was secretly powerful. Ridiculous." "Think logically here, Byram. I wasn't sure at first, but now it seems obvious. At the duel with your son Jason, Stuart Lightstone was in the crowd nearby. The atmosphere of the fight was chaotic, messy, and most of the crowd were low-level spiritual fighting students, people who wouldn't have been able to see if Stuart had ambushed Jason. I mean, really, think about it. A fast sneak attack from behind, and, from the student's viewpoint, it would have seemed like Nathan was the killer." "Are you certain, my lord? Would the Lightstones really have gone against us so severely?" "Earlier this morning, after you arrived, some of my many spies returned to me. They spoke of rumors swirling around regarding Sir Ian Lightstone meeting with Lady Amelia Hayfield in secret by the Swan Pavilion in the Duke's public gardens. What could they possibly have been discussing? My men do not know yet, but whatever it is, I don't like it. I'm sure there's something fishy going on here. Lord Byram sighed as he stared down at his son Michael's body. Could it really be true? I guess Stuart Lightstone was, in fact, a beginner level 9 when Jason was killed. For a crowd of weaklings, maybe they didn't see what really happened. The High Lord Raven rose from where he sat and began to pace back and forth anxiously. Besides, everyone in the crowd at Sweetberry Tavern said Michael was struck down in an instant. Nobody moved, and then, suddenly, Michael fell dead. I'm sorry, Byram, but there's just no way that could have happened without Sir Ian's intervention. The Hayfield boy couldn't possibly be that strong. Tears welled up in Lord Byram's eyes as he hung his head low. If the Lightstones really are backing House Hayfield, then there's nothing to be done about any of it. An official report of my son's death would be pointless. Lord Byram wiped his face and looked up as the High Lord Raven's shadow loomed over him. Remus smiled down at his crying vassal. Do you think that just because the Lightstones are backing them that the Hayfields can sleep peacefully? Think again, Lord Clay. Don't count out the strength of House Raven. We have plenty of backers of our own. Lord Byram's face grew red with rage. His sorrow was soon replaced by a deep need for vengeance. High Lord Raven, sire, whatever happens next, I beg of you, I will do whatever you say, whatever it takes, so long as the Hayfields and the Lightstones are fully destroyed. Do not worry yourself, Lord Clay. No matter their backers, the Hayfields will be wiped off the face of the earth in a matter of days. That much I can guarantee you. Meanwhile, back at the Hayfield family's hotel room, Nathan and Amelia sat across from Ulrich as he stroked his beard and nodded his head. Nathan idly sharpened his blade as his father spoke. You're right, of course, lad. There's no way they would have left you alone had you retreated. A family like the Clays knows only the power of strength, and so strength is what you gave them. Do not dwell on this issue any longer, or you were in the right. Before Nathan had told his father the truth about his real power, Ulrich would have fretted over this news. Now, however, Ulrich understood that Michael Clay and Niles Raven were novices when compared to Nathan's expert swordsmanship and magical abilities. Ulrich knew that even the High Lord Raven himself probably stood no chance against his son. It is strange, though, that another Lightstone boy was there to save you. Nathan stopped sharpening and pondered his father's words. You're right. It is strange. Either through fate or dumb luck, they always seem to be there. Ulrich stroked his beard more fervently as his brow furrowed. I'm worried that we have implicated House Lightstone in our own personal squabbles with the Ravens and the Clays. I wouldn't worry much about it, Father. Oh? Why is that, lad? In just a few weeks, the aristocracy examination will begin. Given the physical and reputational damage I just dealt with, I doubt they'll have time to prepare another subterfuge before them. Lord Byram Clay has no more sons, and if he wishes to keep his brothers from squabbling over who will be his heir, he'll need to remarry and birth another child. That ought to keep him busy for a while. As for House Raven, they'll be forced to wait until the examination before moving against us again, unless, of course, they can find a more powerful backer. Lad, you know as well as I do that the High Lord Raven has Duke Godricson's ear. He does have one ear, that much is true, but the other ear belongs to the High Lord Lightstone. I doubt the Duke will intervene in the meantime. Nathan smiled reassuringly towards his father. In his mind, he wished to tell his father of his plans for the examination, that he submitted plans to challenge the entire House Raven on his own, and that, after the examination, he would ensure that the Hayfield's enemies were no longer any issue whatsoever. Ulrich dropped his hands from his beard and smiled at his son. "Very well then, lad. We'll do our best to hold on to our seat of power, and even if the title falls, I'm confident that someday soon you'll have the power to take it back." Nathan merely nodded his head. He wished to put his father at ease, but he knew that in a few weeks he would astonish his father by exceeding his expectations once more. The news of Michael Clay's swift death at the hands of Nathan Hayfield didn't take long to spread throughout the city of Godricshall. The 2 weeks leading up to the aristocracy examination passed quickly, and Nathan's heart fluttered with excitement whenever he walked past the massive stage being built in the center of Godricshall Plaza. Sometimes, on his morning runs, he finished his workout at the stadium. As he caught his breath, he watched the workers build the stands higher and higher. He figured that by the day of the examination, more than 80,000 people could cram into the square. As he strengthened his core muscles and prayed to the heavens, he imagined what 80,000 people would sound like, what it would be like to duel in the stadium grounds, where every stroke of his blade would be watched and scrutinized by the people of the fiefdom. Early on the morning of the first day of the examination, thousands more onlookers poured into the city from the surrounding countryside, each and every one of them desperate to view the incredible spectacle that happens only once every 10 years. Some were there to cheer on their lords, while others secretly watched in the hope their masters would fall to a more benevolent leader. The sun had barely breached the sky when people entered the stadium in groups of 2 or 3 to save their seats for the day. It was a first-come, first-served event, after all, and thousands of latecomers would be left to stand outside of the plaza listening to the battles or peering over the stadium from a nearby rooftop. Nathan continued his daily training of running around the outskirts of the city at sunrise. As he passed the plaza, he saw a familiar face, one he did not expect. Hilda Moonweaver made her way over to Nathan and stopped him in the middle of his run.
"There you are, young Master Hayfield."
"Hilda, what a pleasant surprise. What brings you all the way to Godricshall?"
"Why, you and that family of yours, of course. Say, any interesting tidbits or stories you've heard around town lately?"
"Not really, sorry."
"Oh, that's all right. I've heard quite a bit about your own exploits here. So if you were a betting man, what would you put your chances at keeping your family's title? Any injuries or secret weapons I ought to know about before I head into the stadium?
Nathan chuckled at her presence. "Listen, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but there's a 100% chance my family loses its title this time around."
"What? What are you talking about, boy? Is everything all right?"
"Nothing's wrong at all, I promise you. But when you reach the betting booth, put it all on us losing our title, and on House Raven losing theirs as well."
House Raven? Are you joking? They've held their position for centuries."
"Take my advice, Hilda. Place your bets as you wish, but if you listen to me, you'll be rich enough to build that back patio you've always dreamed of."
"But how could... hey, wait. How did you know about my back patio designs? I guess someone in town sure likes to gossip."
Nathan laughed as he nodded at a flustered Hilda and finished up his run. By late afternoon, the venue was already packed full of people, with members of the noble houses occupying the optimal seating at the bottom of the stands.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.